In the village, the days may seem ordinary, but it's in this simple moment that true contentment is found. As the sun comes up, the village comes to life. The roosters crow in the morning light, marking the beginning of a new day, with simple, meaningful routines. This summer, I decided to spend a couple of months with my family in my hometown in Russia, where I grew up. It's a district that feels like a village, but it's technically part of a small city. But locals refer to it as a village. I'll try to share the atmosphere and daily routine of a typical middle-class people. In the morning, I start with a simple breakfast. But my favorite part is taking a cup of coffee and stepping outside to soak up the sun and enjoy nature. These quiet moments alone allow me to reconnect, notice the beauty in details and the thoughts and emotions often lost in the rush of city life and informational noise. It's a chance to pause, appreciate the simple moments I didn't notice before, and finally listen to my true self. In Russia, the rhythm of the season dictates daily routines. In the winter, everything seems to slow down and people mostly stay indoors. But when summer comes, life returns. In villages, gardening is the most common activity. Some people also keep chickens, cows, and even bees, like my father. However, keeping bees requires negotiating with neighbors. But the taste of homemade honey is so different from the supermarket kind. Once you try it, you'll never want to buy it from store. My family grows fruits like grapes, from which my mom makes wine, cherries and apples. I usually don't like apples because they are so common and cheap in Russian supermarkets, and my family buys them so often that I've gotten tired of them. But homegrown apples are so delicious that I can't get enough. They have this crisp, fresh flavor that's sweet but also slightly sour, and the juiciness just bursts in your mouth. Summer here is short, lasting only about 3 months, so it's popular to make canned food to enjoy your homegrown produce all year round. This type of activity is most popular among people who are 40 and older. I don't know anyone my age who does it. But of course, we wouldn't mind grabbing a couple of jars from mom or grandma. My mom uses apples to make jam and juice, which we call kompot in Russian, to store for the winter in the cellar. This is the most common traditional way to preserve fruits until then. People also do the same with vegetables, like making pickled cucumbers, tomatoes, cabbages, and so on. And they make it so much that if an apocalypse were to happen in the world, there would always be enough food to survive for 3 years. I decided to try baking apples with homemade honey and cinnamon. I'm not much of a cook, so I kept it simple. But it turned out not bad, and at least it didn't burn. My family also grows vegetables like potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, and so on. Almost every day during summer we cook salads to enjoy fresh, organically grown food as much as possible. There is a quiet satisfaction in knowing that the food on the table came from the land right outside the door. My favorite vegetable is cucumber, and its taste is also different from store-bought ones, especially the young ones. They're much crisper, more flavorful and mildly sweet. And not only I, but also our family dog loved to steal cucumbers from the garden when nobody is watching. And one day she was caught at the scene of the crime. People usually prepare for winter by the end of summer and the beginning of fall, by cleaning their gardens, buying firewood and coals if they have their own house and garden, buying warm clothes and changing tires if they have a car. As I mentioned before, summer here lasts only about 3 months, and June is usually rainy in this region. So we make the most of the warmer days by having barbecues, going to the seaside, since this region is located along the Japanese Sea. Some families with children buy portable swimming pools that can be moved and stored away during the winter. My family is no exception. My parents bought one for my younger sister when she was smaller, but we all enjoy using it. By the evening, I decided to take a walk around the neighborhood with my sister. When I was a child, people preferred living in apartments because they had all the necessary amenities, like heating, sewage systems, running waters, and easy access to schools and supermarkets, even though renting an apartment was a bit more expensive than living in a house in this region. People who lived in houses had to go to such place to get water, which was completely clean and drinkable, but inconvenient. Nowadays, most people have running water at home and are increasingly choosing to live in their own houses. On my street, for example, open fields are rapidly being replaced by new homes. This trend is also influenced by the law on the Far Eastern hectare, which began in 2016 and allows citizens to receive a free hectare of land in the Far East for farming, business, or building a home. So now there is almost no space left on my street. There is always a sense of community here, especially among those who have lived here a long time. It feels like no matter how much changes, the people remain the same. And even this old, small brick store on the corner, with its faded letters on the sign, is still just as it was 20 years ago. The shelves are stocked with everyday products, bread, sugar, tea, sweets, and other essentials. The woman behind the counter knows everyone by name and probably knows all the gossip in the village. And this all gives me a warm, homey feeling. Without the constant comparison to others or the pressure to achieve more, there is a sense of inner peace that comes from appreciating what you have. This inner calm is perhaps the most profound beauty of a simpler life. By cherishing these moments and embracing the everyday beauty around us, we can find a deeper sense of fulfillment and joy. In the end, it's the small things that matter the most.